Hi, I'm Janet Salmons, and I'd like to introduce the e-interview research framework. The book Qualitative Online Interviews is structured around this framework. The e-interview research framework is presented as a circle to emphasize a holistic view of online research design. All of the steps of the design process are interrelated, and each is explored in depth in chapters of the book. In this presentation, I will provide an overview. There are 8 important areas to explore: aligning purpose and design, choosing online interviews for the study, positioning the researcher vis-a-vis the study, determining the e-interview and any other data collection styles, selecting the information and communications technology and setting, handling sampling and recruiting, addressing ethical issues, and collecting the data. So first, aligning purpose and design. There are a number of questions to consider as we think about how the data we want to collect from online interviews fits within the context of the overall study. This visual map is offered to illustrate possible paths of relationship, association, and influence across the areas of the research design. Next, we need to think through why we want to conduct interviews online. Are we using the internet because it is part of the phenomenon and we're studying online behaviors, trends, attitudes, styles of usage? Or are we using the internet as a means of inquiry, a technology tool to communicate with participants about any aspect of the lived experience? As we'll see, this distinction is significant. The researcher's purpose and motivation influences choices about types of data, technology tool and setting, and the ways we relate to participants. Next, we'll think about the position as a researcher. Taking a position as a researcher vis-a-vis the study means fundamentally that we are aware of our position and whether we are insiders or outsiders, and we're able to communicate it to others, including anyone reviewing a research proposal, as well as the participants. Another way to think about position is through the metaphors Cavell introduced and I built upon: the traveler who journeys with participants, the gardener who cultivates relationships with participants, and the miner who tries to dig out the facts and feelings research participants have about the phenomenon. These 3 metaphors can help you to think about your relationship to participants, and it's certainly possible that more than one applies in a given study. Next, you will want to think about the interview style. The degree of structure versus spontaneity in the exchange will relate directly to the communication options available in a given technology. Along with this decision, you will want to clarify what related observations, any documents or posts you want to collect. With these decisions made about the research design, you can think about the technology or combination of technologies you might use. Rather than discuss the changeable brand names of platforms, I like to think in terms of features, whether the communication uses written text, visual exchange through a video conference, a combination of communication tools built into one web conferencing platform, or the immersive virtual environment where we interact as avatars. We'll also consider the degree of synchronicity versus asynchronous timing of message and response. Additionally, if it is a visual medium, we need to think about how we'll use these kinds of features available for interviews and observations. The typology of visual online interviews is offered to help with these decisions. Finally, another factor in the selection of online setting for the study is a determination of whether it is perceived as public or private. Next, now that you have a pretty good idea about the study's design, it's important to think carefully about who the participants will be and how you will reach them. Since this framework is a circle, remember at any of these steps you may need to circle back and revisit previous decisions. And now that you've outlined the study, go ahead and circle back and look at each step through a lens of research ethics and make any refinements necessary. While ethical issues are mentioned at this point, they are present throughout the process. And finally, it's time to think about the reality of conducting the study with plans and backup plans for conducting interviews and any related observations. I hope you'll find many ways to use this framework, not only in your own research, but in analyzing completed studies, reviewing and critiquing others' work. Learn more in the Qualitative Online Interviews book, as well as in Cases in Online Interview Research, which offers exemplars of these kinds of studies and critiques using the e-interview research framework. Keep in touch. I look forward to hearing about your research.